Hi, everyone. I am going to go live today. I'm going to be interviewed by Rosemin, and she's going to be joining us shortly. So she is going to be interviewing me from Dubai. We're going to go onto my Instagram live because her connection over there in Dubai is a bit more difficult. So she asked me to get on mine, and she's going to join us very soon. Here she is. Connecting. Hi!
Hi,
We made it.
we made it. Well, it is Thursday night in Dubai. You are
Wow.
in sunny LA.
Well, it's not that sunny today. It's quite cloudy. So, but it's been sunny every day this week. So, no
So
complaint.
I was looking at your story. Should we just explain what happened to you because you weren't getting a manicure?
No, I definitely was
You know
not
what?
getting a manicure.
I was just before I turned on, I was saying a story that I was like, this is the first time I've actually done makeup and my hair and put on a dress.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's Thursday night. I'm gonna get dressed up for Nigma. And then I felt really bad. I was looking at your stories and I was like, she didn't do a manicure. She has hurt herself. What happened?
You look gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you. Thank you.
about 10 days ago, I opened my fridge and a glass jar flew out and I caught the glass jar and it shattered on my hand and I ended up having to go to Cedar Sinai and get stitches and I just removed them. So I now got the
Oh,
steri strips. So now I can like properly not have to wear gloves to wash my hair. It's been really hard doing anything with one hand. So I'm really excited. And I just adopted a dog and had his stitches taken out yesterday because he was neutered. So
no.
both of us are in like two peas in a pod, basically.
So you definitely have some stories while you've been having this COVID quarantine.
Totally. COVID scar.
COVID scar. We have people joining from all over. Just on my side, we have Mamta, who actually is a fan of yours, and she has an aromatherapy natural line here. So I'm so
Oh,
glad you joined in. Sandra from Urbanist, thanks for joining in. Mimi, I mean, so many people have come in because we've had so many DMs asking you questions. If you've just joined in, I can see people joining now. A big hello. I'm from Dubai. Nigma's in LA, and it is 9 p.m. here in Dubai, 10 a.m. in LA, and if you're watching in London, it's 6 p.m. So thank you for joining in. Nigma, can I do a little bit of an introduction for you because it is super
okay.
impressive? Dr. Nigma Talib, world-renowned naturopathic doctor, celebrity esthetician to some of the most recognizable faces in the world, best-selling author of 2 books. I have one of them right here, who I've been putting post-it notes on. You are a leading authority in natural health and wellness. There is so much to answer, especially now. I think people have actually taken time because everyone's been on this treadmill. And I think people have really taken time to really think about their bodies. They're starting to listen to their body.
Mhm.
And I think, which is very relevant to COVID, is that these symptoms are, you really have to be in tune with your body. Otherwise, you're going to rapidly get sick, right? It starts off
Absolutely.
with the flu. Some people are asymptomatic. So I think, to me, in that naturopathic space is really about being in tune with your body. I want to start, you've been a doctor for over 20 years. Can we start with your background in medical history?
So I wanted to become a naturopathic doctor when I was a teenager because I had all kinds of digestive issues. And so my dad was always on the cutting edge. Like he always thought outside of the box. So he's like, you're going to go and see a naturopathic doctor. And I went, a what? Because I'd seen all these gastroenterologists and conventional medical medicine did not help me at all. So I saw this naturopathic doctor and we assessed my diet, we assessed my bowel movements. I know it's not a very sexy topic for everyone, but it is in Hollywood, I promise you. Um, how I was digesting and absorbing and, looking at all those areas. And within 3 months, Rosemin, I was 100% better, like
In 3 months.
100%. In 3 months, it was even less than 3 months. I was like 50% better in within 3 to 4 weeks. And then I just gradually got better and better. I had lots of digestive stuff, eczema, covered with eczema. you know, all over my body and gone, you know, just, and I always wanted to be a surgeon because I always looked up to one of the surgeons in our family. And I said, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a surgeon. But once I saw the naturopathic doctor, I said, I want to practice real medicine. Real medicine to me is looking at the root cause. When you're looking at the root cause of illness, you are looking at real medicine. And it's science-based medicine. It's not, you know, we're not using, we're not using voodoo or anything like that. People have to actually understand that we go through 8 years of medical training, and naturopathic doctors are amazing at getting to the root cause of disease rather than suppressing a symptom. Conventional medicine has its absolute, you know, I think the marriage of the two is what's necessary. And
Yeah.
I work with a lot of conventional docs, and we work with patients. And so anyways, going back, I discovered naturopathic medicine through my own health issues. And, you know, my parents, both my mom and dad, were really supportive at me seeing this naturopathic doctor. And I was literally, I mean, you can't get any better than 100% better.
But was that after kind of the typical Western medicine just wasn't working for you?
It wasn't working. And if you looked at what Western medicine was doing, is they were just saying, you have IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, which is really BS. Sorry, guys out there. It is a BS. It's a cop-out diagnosis. It doesn't mean anything. You want to find out, why is a person having irritable bowel syndrome or disease? What is a root cause? Which is, to me, being like a biochemical detective, uncovering cellular changes in cellular activity, changes in gut microbiome activity. That is getting to the root cause.
And also, when you speak about the root cause, you're right, it's not a glamorous subject. Looking at your bowel movement, the gut, I mean, I think that stuff is not glamorous at all, but it is really what tells you, right? What's happening in your body, how your body's digesting, even when it comes to stool, which isn't glamorous at all. But it's the first thing that you look at to really explain how your intestines are digesting that food and what they're taking in.
Totally.
So it started at a young age, and I think that's quite interesting. You know, I have a talk show here in this region, in Hong Kong, and it's the first sign of an entrepreneur. When they have a problem,
right,
and it is their initiative to fix it. So it makes no surprise that after med school, you started your own practice.
Yes, I did. I started out my practice in Vancouver, British Columbia, and I saw patients for many, many years. And then I moved over to the UK in London and opened up my own practice there. And I just moved from London to Los Angeles about 1.5 years ago now. Gosh, it's been 1.5 years, and I love it here.
So we saw each other in LA a few months ago, which was so nice. That was my last trip to LA. But you know, actually, someone's just asking, I'm going to answer this question while we're on your early part of your years. In 3 months, what changes did you see once you were working with that naturopathic doctor?
So what the naturopathic doctor did was assess what foods my body didn't like. So he did that through doing a blood test, ELISA test for food intolerances. Now, if you don't have the ability to do this, you can do an elimination diet. An elimination diet, I recommend, is avoiding gluten, sugar, dairy, wine, you know, the basic inflammatory promoters. We know they promote inflammation. It's in the scientific literature. I've seen it over and over in practice for 20 years. So if you eliminate those 4 things for at least 4 weeks, think 4 and 4, you'll see a difference. If you don't, send me a message and we'll have a chat, because there's something else going on. But I reduced those, and for me, garlic was an issue.
Really?
And also we did a stool analysis, which I discovered I had an overgrowth of bacteria in the gut that shouldn't be there. And we got rid of that using different herbal remedies, probiotics, digestive enzymes, also lifestyle changes. All of that connection incredibly helped my health. You know, I was prescribed by the conventional medical model, ranitidine, which is, you know, helping with stomach acid. It didn't help. It made it worse for me, actually, in the long run. So, and, you know, antispasmodics, and, you know, of course, these are Band-Aid approaches. They might work for 1 or 2 weeks, but it's not getting to the root cause. So they stopped working. So we changed diet, we changed lifestyle. I got on some supplementation. I was also nutrient deficient. I was severely anemic. which was making the eczema worse. Whenever you have iron deficiency anemia, it actually suppresses the immune system's ability to work optimally. So all of those different key points actually helped me immensely.
I'm going to say a big hello to Mamta. We're going to answer all your questions in just a few minutes, but we're going to follow Dr. Nigma's career. From Vancouver, you were pretty much headhunted to come to London, right? There was a huge demand for you in London. And what I found was really interesting is you've flown all over the world. So Vancouver to London was a long flight, and London to LA. Once you got to London, what was that experience like? You started your clinic there.
Very interesting. I got a lot of, I'm afraid not. When I first got there, it was an interesting journey trying to, I mean, there were a lot of people that were interested, but there was also a lot of resistance. I think once people started, you know, to see me and the word got out, you know, that I was seeing, you know, certain patients that, you know, obviously got the word out. I then got a book deal through Penguin Random House. They contacted me and said, hey, would you like to write a book? And I said to them, I've actually already written it. I sent them then the proposal and I had a book deal within a week. And it was a #1 bestseller in its category. So I was, you know, it just sort of, everything just sort of happens. And I think when things are, when you manifest things and you're really passionate about things, things happen. It's easy. You know, things, you know what I mean by that.
You know, it's really funny because the way you're, I mean, we're talking about a little bit of the medical side, but there is the side to you that is truly an entrepreneur,
Yes.
and manifestation and visualization and all these things and hard work and loyalty all come into play to your success. So it's no secret you are known as a world-renowned wellness doctor.
I got it from my mama. My mom taught me all of this.
Oh, well. Oh, I'm sure she's amazing. In London, when I first met you, I had to pull so many strings to see you because you had a waiting list of weeks, months just to get an appointment with you. Was that at a turning point when you realized this book is going to be all your knowledge for people to really help them dissect really what's wrong with them before they come see you or see another doctor?
Absolutely. I wrote this book over the years, over the last 20 years, to try to help people. And every time I looked at any condition, whether it be eczema, acne, fatigue, you name it, it all starts in the gut, right? So yeah. when you look at the gut, it can help every single issue. You know, all disease starts in the gut and everything heals in the gut. So when I looked at that, I said, you know, I need to write something on the gut. And I wrote the book over the years, you know, slowly but surely. And then when Penguin Random House said, you need to write a book, I was like, I have one. I'm ready to go. And the book really helped people who weren't able to come in and see me. I mean, I tried to see as many people as I could, but, you know, I'm one person, so it was really hard. So in that way, I think it was really important to get the message out. And that's why I wrote the book, was purely to get the message out. In gut we trust. I love that. That is amazing.
In gut we trust. Nitin, yes, hello. He's the comedian of my friend. So hello.
He's awesome.
Yes, he is. Thank you for joining. So I'm holding this book, Younger Skin Starts in the Gut.
And by the way, let me just tell you that both the books, Reverse the Signs of Aging and Younger Skin Starts in the Gut, it's the same book. I know it's super confusing because the US wanted a different title. So
okay. So this is the book you have to get. It's available on Amazon. I'm holding it, and I used to have tons of little tabs, and I keep shifting them around. I wanted to start with, what is the first step when someone who can't see you, and probably a lot of your followers right now, what is the first step in communicating effectively to a doctor? Because it's really hard. I mean, I am acne prone, and I just couldn't get to the root of the problem. And so I had every single medicine, and I felt like no dermatologist or no one could really understand me. How do I communicate to doctors what you're feeling? And I'm just turning to page 56. Is this a good start? Is starting the diary, a food diary?
100%, 100%. Because if you're doing a food diary, you're going to really acknowledge what it is you're putting in your body. So if you do a food diary every day and you're like, drank this much coffee, had this much water, had cheesecake, you know, at 3 o'clock, or had a coffee with whatever, put a teaspoon of sugar in there, you're gonna like consciously know what you're doing, because a lot of people are not conscious. They're kind of, we're not mindful when we're eating something. We'll just like drink it or we'll eat it. And if you're actually making a note of what you're doing, it's good for you and it's good for the practitioner that you're seeing, so that both of you can dialogue. Because whatever you put in your mouth, food is medicine and food is a drug as well. So, you know, you need to manage what you're eating, and you need to consciously think about what you're eating, because that will help you decide, okay, well, I ate this and I had a weird bowel movement after. That might not be good for me. Or I ate that and the next day I got a spot here. Or I ate that and I felt super tired after I ate it. You know, like all those kinds of things. So I think making a food journal is something that everyone can do at home, and it's super easy to do.
And how long should you be recording this before you to take it to a doctor to get so you can analyze it?
Sure. I think 2 weeks is great. Like 2 weeks is a good amount of time. And you know what I do? I do it in my notes in my iPhone. I just like make a list, like what did I eat when I woke up in the morning? What did I drink? And I like to do that every now and then, just to, you know, I'll sometimes, you know, because it's been so busy in my career points, I have been horrible with just missing food and going, oh my God, I didn't even eat anything at lunch, or I didn't have, you know, I didn't have enough water, or, you know, it's a really good way of sort of being your own doctor. And I think we all need to do that. We shouldn't rely on a doctor to tell us any of this, because there's so much available on the web. There's so many amazing naturopathic doctors out there. There's so many great functional medicine practitioners out there. Functional medicine is naturopathic medicine, basically. Just FYI for everyone out there. They're just doing what naturopathic medicine is. I love my field. And, you know, there's a ton of resources. So the short of the long is really you can be your own doctor, because you're your best doctor. You're in your body. You know how you feel when you eat something. So I think it's really important to connect that and be mindful.
So for everyone who's joined, it is 9:17 here in Dubai, 10:17 in LA, and 6:17 p.m. in London. If you've just joined, we are, Dr. Nigma has joined us. She is honestly the leading authority on holistic health. She is a celebrity esthetician to the most recognizable faces in the world. I'm just going to say who they are. I mean, everyone from Gwyneth Paltrow, Penelope Cruz. I mean, the list goes on. She is honestly a best-selling author and a world-renowned naturopathic doctor. She is now based in LA. So Hollywood has you right now, and we're so happy to have you here. There are so many questions we're going through, and I'm just kind of going through the book because I think it's kind of the first steps for everyone to follow when they can't see you. So starting a food diary is really important.
Super important.
And then let's talk about the faces. You kind of created this model where you've really like identified different faces, from what a gluten face looks like to a wine face, a sugar face.
Yes, yes.
That's a mixture of Chinese medicine, I guess, and naturopathic medicine.
Absolutely. So naturopathic doctors do study traditional Chinese medicine, which is originally from the Ayurvedic model, which is from India. So, you know, it goes back to our roots, you know, like you and I know a lot of things. Our grandmothers used to make us do turmeric and stuff like that. Like that's old news for us. That's something that's just becoming super sexy now, is adding turmeric to things, and in the last 5 to 10 years. But I created the 4 phases of aging because I kept seeing my patients eat certain foods, and then I'd be like, you have gluten face today. And they'd be like, how did you know I had gluten? I'm like, because you have gluten face. And so I kept calling, my patients would really get a good kick out of this. So I'd say, okay, you have sugar face now. I'm like, wait, you have all 4 faces. What did you do this weekend? They're like, oh my God, I can run, but I can't hide from you. Because I could actually see the changes in their skin from what they were eating. Think of it this way, Rosemin. If you had a car, I mean, you look like you're 32, so let's pretend you're 32.
I love it. This is why she's my friend. She's making me feel good.
Say what's your favorite car?
Let's just go for an Aston today.
Yeah, okay, Aston. Okay, you're driving this 32-year-old Essen around in the
Yeah.
dirt. What's going to
Yeah.
happen after a while if you drag it through the dirt, you don't warm it up in the morning? It's
Yeah.
going to fail, right? And on the dashboard of the car, it's going to say you have low fuel, or you have this issue, or your fuel pump is broken, or whatever it is. Anyone out there that knows cars, something could happen. And so your face is the dashboard.
Yeah.
So think of your face as the dashboard. So that's why I created these 4 phases of aging. So gluten face, sugar face, dairy face, and wine face, which is so unfortunate. So the gluten face is like you get puffiness. Like think about the day after you've had pizza. I mean, pizza is almost like 3 faces, 2 faces at least. You've got, puffiness of the skin. You can get some pigmentation issues around the mouth, because it's causing leaky gut, which we'll talk about in a minute as well, which causes pigmentation on the skin. And you can also get some blemishes. Okay, so think of a chubby, blemished kind of skin. Okay, that's gluten face. And you know that after you have gluten, you're like a bit more puffy. You don't have the refined kind of cheekbones. I always know because I lose my cheekbones when I have gluten.
And is it like an immediate effect?
It can be, and usually the next day or the day after. So this is a problem. The immediate gratification is not always there. Okay, so that's why I wish again, it could be from 4 minutes to 4 days after eating the food. And then we look at dairy face. Dairy face, I'm super guilty of dairy face because I love cheese and things like that. Darkness under the eyes, which we already have in the Indian and Middle Eastern countries. We get this genetic propensity towards a dark circle. So dairy is going to make it worse. And it's going to also cause a bit of puffiness. So I don't know if you noticed this ever, Rosemin, but like if you have a bit of dairy, just watch out for this. You'll get a little bit of puffiness in here. Okay. So I don't know if you see people with like puffy eyelids.
I'm going to look out for that.
Look out for that when you have dairy. And then when you don't have dairy, it's like nice and smooth. It's the best. And then you also get acne. Eczema is a big one from dairy. So people who get eczema. Also for wine face. Wine and sugar are very similar. And so wine causes kind of like the redness of the skin, the nasolabial folds, so the skin sags. Sugar also causes skin sagging, pimples. So think sugar and wine are kind of similar because they're both sugar. And think sugar causes skin sagging. If you remember that, then you'll know sugar's a bad thing.
Okay, so Hussein is live from Toronto. Hussein, I hope you heard that. Sugar is a bad thing. So what does he do with his sugar cravings? I know him very well, and he is the ultimate cookie monster.
Listen,
how do you curb those cravings?
I know. I want to talk. I indulged in a bit of sugar the other day, and it's like, what am I doing? Because the more you have it, the more you want it. It's like crack. It gets really crazy that way. So you just literally have to take it out for a period of time. It is a real thing. Up your protein, because part of why you're craving the sugars, your body's also craving nutrients. You know what I mean? And so up your protein. So every time you feel like eating sugar, get some, turkey slices out of the fridge and mix it up. I'll make like rolled turkey with avocado inside and cilantro and some fresh lime, and I'll roll them up, put some chili flakes inside, and I'll eat that. I haven't been doing it recently, but I bought some, so I'm definitely starting that, because I went off I also went onto a bit of a sugar thing, which is totally unlike me because I'm not a sugar person. I'm more of like love wine, but anyway, we won't go into it. But
are these? Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off, but are these really like a no-no, or it's about eliminating them, doing it in moderation?
That's a good question. It's what you want. So if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling bloated, if you're feeling, if you have acne, if you have you don't like the way your skin looks and it's from your diet, then this is a really good thing to do and try for 4 weeks. It's not like it's the rest of your life. Now, what happens after the 4 weeks is you'll enjoy so much how you feel and how you look that you yourself will be addicted to wanting to keep it. Now, 80-20 rule. So keep it as an 80-20 rule. I think that's the key. 20% do what you want, and then 80%, really follow what your body loves. And you'll even feel good doing it. When you exercise, you're going to see results. When you're doing your work, your head is going to feel more clear. Your moods are going to be better. So I think there's a big win for all of this.
Now, I think we just got 10 or 15 messages just about fruits. Let's just talk about fruits while we're on this topic of subject of sugar. How much fruit should we be having? When should we be having fruits?
Really good question. I don't recommend squeezed juice in terms of fruit because it does act as sugar. It creates a surge in insulin, and it can create, insulin insensitivity over a period of time. Why Mother Nature made the peel of a fruit is for a reason. What's found in the peel of the fruit? It's rich in fiber and it's rich in vitamin C. So we need that in order to balance the surge of sugar that goes into the blood. So always eat your fruit. And if you want to juice anything, juice your vegetables. Maybe a tiny bit of apple in there. So things like stevia, monk fruit are good replacements. But again, remember, you're still stimulating the same place in the brain, the pituitary, when you're having sweet things. So of course, it's going to be a good alternative, and you can switch to monk fruit and stevia and sweeten things with things like berries. Like if you have oatmeal, put berries in your oatmeal and cook it with some cut up apples instead of throwing sugar in there. So those are all really good ways to sweeten things.
And is there a particular time we should be having fruit? Because I always hear these different theories. Have it in the morning, not after 7. I mean, is it?
You know
is
what?
There a rule of thumb?
I wouldn't put too much emphasis on that. I think it's hard enough trying to avoid some of these things. Don't put that added pressure on you. If you're feeling peckish and you're wanting something, cut up an apple, cut up a pear, have some fruit. There's nothing wrong with that. It's better than going and reaching for a chocolate bar or, sugar candies or, processed foods. So, I think that is a good way to do it. And of course, what happens to us when we're stressed? A stress hormone called cortisol goes way up, and everybody's stress is high right now. Yeah. There's just so many moving parts to what's happening in the world right now. And so I think when you have a surge of cortisol, you're going to crave more sugar. So people are going to start to crave a bit more sugar. I know I have, and I don't crave sugar normally. So I definitely can understand and empathize. And, I'm here to support anyone with this. Whoever wants to ask me any questions, I'm happy to be there for you because I get it. I totally get it. And dark sugar, no. Darker the sugar, the healthier, no. Brown sugar is not healthier than white sugar, no.
Okay, well, so what about moving on to the next culprit of acne? I want to say dairy, because the minute I stopped taking dairy, I saw such an improvement in my skin.
Yes.
So let's talk about dairy, and I'm going to throw it in there because I know it's in your book as well. And if you can just explain it, is the soya milk, the almond milk, the coconut milk. I mean, I feel like every time you go to Starbucks, there's a new alternative for you to have. What should we be having?
I'm glad that you brought that up because even those are not good because they have sugar in them.
There goes my almond milk. Okay, no. So really?
But hold on. If you get sugar-free almond milk, it's much better than not having, sugar-free almond milk is better than having the almond milk from Starbucks. Okay. So I would definitely look at things like oat milk is okay as well, as long as you get the sugar-free kind. I know in the UK, when I lived in the UK, they have better options for the nut milks in terms of most of them are sugar-free, but in America, everything has sugar in it. So you really have to read the ingredients. If you see any sugar in there, and a lot of them will have sugar-free. Now, having said that, I was speaking to my really good friend the other day, and she put up a recipe of how to make your own coconut milk. And I can post that on my Instagram stories after.
Yeah, I would love
anybody wants to see that. Hemp milk is also really good as long as you get the sugar-free version of hemp milk. So again, go for the sugar-free. And if you have a Vitamix, do you have a Vitamix at home?
No. I know my parents do. I know Hussein has it.
Okay. All right. Because
But
you can
yeah,
make
okay.
your own almond milk and it's
Okay.
delicious. It's really yum.
Okay. So you need to put those recipes on there. So
Okay, I
that is,
will. I'll post them after this and
so if
I'll
you
share
are,
them
I
with you.
mean, again, I know like coffee's not good, but like once in a while I do give in to Starbucks. So I should be having sugar-free almond milk. Is that the best option, or coconut
Yes.
milk?
That would be the best option. Coconut milk, there's a lot of sugar in coconut milk,
Okay.
the already made ones. So try to get the sugar-free versions.
Now let's talk about aging, because we all
Hmm.
want to age gracefully. And I feel
Sure.
like you have the right tips and tricks in the book
Yes.
to age naturally, gracefully,
Yeah.
especially when we're hitting 30s. And I mean, I just joined the new decade of 40. So what are the things that we start with? Like, is it starting with that? We start with the health side, right? So
Sure.
what we eat, where we start putting in our system when it comes to food. What should we, when we wake up in the morning, or when you wake up in the morning, how do you start your day?
So first of all, I wanted to start off by saying aging is beautiful. There is nothing wrong with aging. And I think exactly what you said, aging gracefully versus prematurely. And, I think, what you eat is going to have a reflection. Remember the dashboard of the car, okay? So in terms of eating, your gut is 80% of your immune system.
Okay.
Everything that happens in your gut. So think of it this way, Rosemin. If I were to take out my intestines right now and spread them out, they would be the size of a tennis court. Okay? So you have a lot of surface area to work with. The only separation from the external environment to the internal environment is our digestion. So whatever you're putting in your mouth is going to affect everything in your body, from inflammation. When you have inflammation, you prematurely age. So super, super important to start off in the morning. You've been fasting all night, right? So you haven't been
Yeah.
eating anything, unless those of you munching and crunching at 4 in the morning watching Netflix. Do not do that. Messes up your circadian rhythm. And so wake up in the morning. Remember, you're that Aston Martin car, right? You want to warm up the car. The car is 32 years old. And and
Love
so
her. Thanks, Nigma.
you do not want to just start the car and drive it off your lot from your house, right? Because what will happen? It needs to warm up. It's 32 years old. So you warm it up, and then so the same thing in the morning, warm it up. That's why people are always saying, "Oh, I have my hot water with my lemon." That's beautiful. And that's why it works so well, because you're heating up the engine. You're filling your intestines with warming liquids rather than first thing in the morning with a coffee. You're stimulating your cortisol levels. It's caffeine. Your body's going, woo. You want your natural cortisol levels to work. So hot water, lemon, and I recommend eating breakfast. I know there's this whole intermittent fasting thing, which I think can work for a lot of people. But remember, the intermittent fasting was done on men. The research was done on men. For us women, we have more hormones than men. And so fasting, that intermittent fasting is not going to be, it's not going to be good for everyone. And you need to sort of ease into it. You can't just like do it. So recommend having a nice breakfast. I do a gluten-free oatmeal, and I put some water, I put some cinnamon, I put a bit of cardamom in there, I put a bit of turmeric. I might put a dash of monk fruit sugar if I'm peckish, or make it with apples, which is a good way to sweeten it, or throw blueberries in there. And that's my breakfast. Okay. Sometimes I'll have leftover dinner for breakfast. So I love having things like chicken soup, any kind of protein with vegetables and warming, or bone broth. So those will be kind of what I eat for breakfast. I think whoever created breakfast is out of their mind, because it's the worst thing. Everything that's breakfast is the worst thing to eat for you. Like cold cottage cheese,
Yeah.
fruits, like your body needs to warm up. It's been fasting all night, and all of a sudden you give it this shock. So that's what I do in the morning. And then I'll have a nice lunch. I'll have a protein. I'll have vegetables. Kind of what I eat for lunch is what I kind of eat for dinner, like
Oh,
protein
really?
and
Okay.
veg. Yeah.
And
And
then
I'll have
are you,
lots of, sorry?
so what about meat, fish for
Yeah.
lunch?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So protein is super important. Your hair is made up of protein, your skin is made up of protein, your nails are made up of protein. So, when we're getting older, I'm now 47 years old, I require more protein as I'm going into my perimenopause stage. I need more protein, and that will help my blood sugar as well. So protein is super, super important. So I try to include protein wherever I can. Fish, chicken, um, beef every now and then to help with the iron and the anemia, because I have lots of anemia, but I don't overdo it. I try not to overdo it with the meat because obviously, there's hormones in certain meats. I always try to buy fresh and, make sure that, the animals are treated correctly. It's a tough one, the meat one with me, but I still do include it in my diet.
So can you explain what a leaky gut is? That's one of our questions.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a good analogy. So this is our gut lining. It's nice
Yeah.
and smooth. So it becomes leaky when you get open, sort of, open areas in the gut that things can go through. So say you're eating your normal food. When you're eating the food, it goes through the intestines and into the bloodstream. So you're all of a sudden getting proteins that should have stayed within the gut lumen and digest and gone on to digest further that now leak through directly into the system. That's leaky gut. These leaky guts happen because the tight junctions between the intestinal mucosa get damaged, and they get damaged from gluten, they get damaged from sugar. Lots of things damage these leaky gut. Stress causes damage, like even just being stressed. They did studies with rats, and they found out that it can cause leaky gut. When you have this leaky gut, you can also heal the leaky gut. So things like cabbage, glutamine, probiotics, all of those repair these tight junctions, and also avoiding the bad foods help prevent further damage to them. So again, that's kind of what leaky gut is in a nutshell. When you have leaky gut, you can predispose yourself to autoimmune conditions, inflammatory issues. Lots of diseases start from leaky gut. So it's super important to keep the gut permeability really intact because it is paper thin. It's only one cell between the bloodstream and the inside of the gut. So it's like a paradox. It's like on the one hand, you want the nutrients to absorb. On the other hand, you don't want the bad bacteria and the proteins from your food going through. So it's an interesting how the human body was made. It's it always excites me, especially when I took my histology class and I realized that it was only one cell. How is that possible? So that's incredible that it's like paper thin. So you have to be super careful with your gut lining and always protect it, support it, and feed it good nutrients.
Okay, so can you repeat it again? So cabbage,
Glutamine,
okay,
probiotics,
yeah,
and there's something out there called DGL,
okay,
deglycerinized licorice.
okay,
It is amazing at increasing the goblet cells that line the intestinal mucosa and repair these junctions here. Things like bone broth are really good. Turmeric is anti-inflammatories, which curcuma longa helps reduce the inflammation that's taking place. So ginger as well. Also things like pepper, because pepper is really good antimicrobial. So it gets rid of any of the bacteria that could be attacking these tight junctions. So turmeric, black pepper, probiotics, cabbage, all of those things.
okay. So I hope everyone got that and wrote that down. What about vegetarians? I think they're always, when you get to a restaurant and I'm with my friends, the first thing they do is look at a menu and is there something for me in
Sure.
that menu? How are you going to get the right nutrients and protein?
Listen, if you're a good vegetarian, you can do a good job. And if your constitution allows you to be a good vegetarian, you'll know it. I have so many patients over the years, and those of you listening out there will even agree to this, where they're like, I was a vegetarian for 10 years, and I had to go back to eating meat or protein. One man's poison's another man's medicine. That's the best way I can put it. We are all different, Rosemin. Look at us. Like, even though our DNA is 99% alike, look at how different we look, although you and I could be sisters.
perfectly fine with me. I would love that.
So you know, it's like this connection that we're having with food and skin, food and immune system. You know, everything you eat is going to show up on your skin in the end. And also, you know, everybody needs different things, right? So we need, you know, you need more water than me maybe because you exercise more. You need certain kinds of vegetables. So there is no right answer. Vegetarians, it is super hard to be a vegetarian and do a good job of it. Because, and it depends what age you are as well. Depends what age you're a vegetarian versus, you know, being a vegetarian. Maybe it's good. I think it's a good idea to rotate being a vegetarian in particular times in your life and then rotate. I think eating also the same thing over and over again is not good too. I think variety is the spice of life. And,
Okay.
you know, just giving your body different things and seeing how you feel. Be your own doctor.
So I love that. I love being your own doctor. And I think as women get older and wiser, they start to become really in tune with their body. And I think that's one of the most important things that I learned from you is really listening to your body, journaling what you're eating. If you are feeling comfortable, whether it's having an acne breakout or bloating, I think bloating is one of the things. The minute I said you were coming on, everyone was asking me, they're like, I always get bloating. Like,
Sure.
what is the right thing to do? Is it to go and do these tests, is it trial and error, do you recommend, or actually, you know, paying to do the food intolerance testing or allergy testing?
I think if you've tried the food elimination and you're super frustrated, I think it's a good idea to get a food intolerance test. I think, well, I know rather,
Yeah.
I've done it on lots of patients and they're like, I'm so glad I did this because I've been trying this, taking out this, taking out that, and you know, nothing seems to work. So I do think it's super important to trial and error at first because you can get results. But if you're really frustrated and you have super sensitive skin or you're constantly getting breakouts and you're just like, I just don't know what it is. This is really hard to do. Then that's the time that you want to seek advice from a naturopathic doctor. I know you have some naturopathic doctors in the UAE. I'm
Yes.
sure of it.
Yeah.
And they're amazing and they can specifically, it's an ELISA test, ELISA, and it
Okay.
measures something called IgG. It's a food antibody test that measures what foods your body likes and doesn't like.
ELISA test. So Beach Babes Dubai. It's called the ELISA test. You can ask for it at any homeopathic center,
Naturopathic.
naturopathic center wherever you are in the
Yeah.
world. So that's
Google
a great.
naturopathic doctor, UAE, and I really recommend seeing a naturopathic doctor because this is what we do best. And so make sure you see an ND and, you know, see if you can get in and review with them if this is a right test for you.
Okay, so shall we move on to skin, right? Because
Yeah.
you have worked on pretty much some of the most famous women in the world, and you know, I felt like I saw every dermatologist in the world battling acne, and essentially, it was really cutting down, taking out the dairy. It was really what I was putting in, controlling my stress levels,
Mm-hmm.
and really kind of listening to what I was feeling, because I realized when I was stressed, when I wasn't sleeping, I would wake up into the worst cystic acne, and really getting my pH levels under control. And that was a really learning curve as well. Can we talk about probiotics and for acne sufferers out there? What are some
For sure.
3 or 4 rules of thumb?
Yeah, so probiotics, we looked at research and we found that acne sufferers had not enough beneficial bacteria in their gut when we measured the stool. And whenever we put that beneficial bacteria in, what it does is it prevents, number one, it keeps the bad guys out, it normalizes the gut flow activity, and it normalizes proper intestinal movement. So, and it changes the pH as well. So probiotics do so many things and in effect help the immune system. So a lot of my patients that constant colds and flus or, you know, constant bloating, gas, you know, skin issues, all, you know, really, really good with probiotics. Now, not all probiotics are created the same. So again, this is something you always want to talk to a naturopathic doctor about because they may have a specific type that they might want to put you on. Like if you're having constipation, diarrhea, there's different kinds. But generally the one that I love is lactobacillus and bifidobacterium, and I made one with grapeseed extract, which helps the skin and the gut. But there are also great brands out there too. So again, speak to your naturopathic doctor to see which one would be good for you.
So that's acne. So making
Yes.
sure you have the right nutrients inside to really combat
Sure.
that acne. And I love that you're being very honest, because your gut and your stool will tell a doctor so much information about what your body's going through. And so it's not glamorous, but it is getting to the root of the problem.
Yes, it is. It is. I mean, when I look at a stool test of someone, I can tell a lot what's going on. And I worked for a lab for many years, and I would only look at results of stool tests and talk to doctors. So I was educating doctors, conventional doctors, naturopathic doctors. I was part of this team that, they'd book an appointment with me, and I would discuss their lab tests with them and explain to them. I would tell them what their patient had, and they'd be like, "How did you know?" And I'm like, "Well, they have that candida, that they have that bacteria, and I bet you they have this going on." And so whatever's going on in the gut, you'll be able to guess exactly what's going on physiologically in the patient.
So candida, can you expand on that? Because I find a lot of women, 30s, 30, 40, 50s, this is like a reoccurring infection. How do you control that?
Candida is something that it's something that is a diagnosis made a lot. I think sometimes it's made too often, and the person doesn't have candida. They actually have a parasite, or they have a bacteria. So I think sometimes there is an overlap with how to treat candida and bacteria, but generally speaking, everybody needs to be assessed. And if you think you have candida, then I think it's super important to, cut out the sugars, try a candida diet for a bit. It is very strict. I would recommend also getting your food intolerance test then, because then it gets super complicated. And then you're avoiding everything, which is tough.
Okay. So make sure you get a test done. And again, really write these symptoms down. Start a food journal for people that have joined in before seeing the doctor. If you can't get to Dr. Nigma, it's really important that you do a food journal for at least 2 weeks, so you can give the doctor as much information as possible to really assess what's happening inside your body.
Sure.
Now, you are in LA. This is the place of perfection, right?
Yes.
You work with, whether they're sports stars, actresses, presenters, the face is their business. It is the money. Sure. It is not just, it's a mixture of obviously talent, but your face as well. What should women be doing? What are some of the treatments you should start to take care of the face?
There are amazing treatments out there that don't involve Botox and fillers. I'm not a big fan of Botox and fillers. I mean, I just think it starts making everybody look the same. And I think facial expression is so important. Obviously, try to avoid too much movement up here so you don't get the lines, but there's nothing wrong with lines. I think the skin texture and the dewiness and the glowy is so much more important than fine lines and wrinkles. So things like radio frequency, IPL, really nice glycolic peels, salicylic acid peels, using good skincare with plant stem cells, hyaluronic acid, all those things. We have the technology, and there's a lot of stuff you can do at home right now as well. I've been doing do-it-your-own face masks. I've been doing time steams for myself. I mix them all up, and then I'll do a steam on my face. I actually made one up for you guys today to show you before we go. But yeah, I mean, there's so many treatments you can do. I know it's tough right now because you can't go out and get them, but definitely IPL, radio frequency, microdermabrasion. But you have to look at your skin type. Not everyone can do all these treatments. So being assessed for it, I promise you, if you focus on your diet first, the foundation, any kind of treatment you do will work 10 times better. So think of it that way.
So focus on, this is all about inside out.
It's an inside job, darling. I promise.
I just want to say a big hello to Mimi. She is my facialist here. So Mimi, thank you for my glowing skin.
Hi, Mimi.
Hi, Mimi.
I love that name.
So in your book, you actually put some recipes about how to do facials, like masks, right, are in here. So this is actually a great book to have.
Yeah.
Your mask recipes are here. And then
Yes.
we saw you on Goop's Netflix series. You did the famous vampire facial. It's PRP, I guess, right, with Gwyneth.
Yes. Yes, I did.
How many times should someone do that?
So that can be done once a month, up to 6 treatments, because what you're doing is you're increasing the collagen production, you're increasing its platelet-rich plasma, and you're doing that with the needling. And it also helps with pigmentation. You'll get new baby skin. Now, it depends on the patient. I might do it once a month for 6 times, or I might do it once and see how they react. Some people only need 1 or 2 treatments, you know, it just depends what the person wants, but the results are amazing. I've been doing it for 16, 17 years in my practice before it was even known, because it was something that it makes sense to me as a naturopathic doctor, is encouraging your own collagen to increase versus trying to, you know, put filler and stuff in. And I do it on myself. So it's one of the things that I do on myself. Yes.
No, the Goop documentary was, you know, I loved how Gwyneth touched upon that subject, and you did a great job with her. If we can't get to you, we have to just buy the products. How did you start? These are I'm not even going to open it because it's half done, but this is the serum and your cream. So I use this every day. How long did it take you to create these products?
Oh my gosh. So it took me a good 4 to 5 years to create them. And then after I created them, it took me another 4 years to create the cleanser, which you don't have, which I need to send you.
So this is actually made in Switzerland.
Yes.
Yeah, it is in Switzerland. And let's talk about the ingredients of the serum, because I love that, you know, I find when a doctor has their name on a product, you're not going to screw it up, because at the end of the day, you know, all of us are a reflection of you, right? Like, you know, my skin is glowing. It's because I'm using these products, because I'm eating well. It's because Mimi gives me nice facials as well. But what is in the serum that you found was, you know, revolutionizing and for your particular product?
So, you know, I put in plant stem cells. Plant stem cells are incredibly rich in antioxidants. And not only do they protect your skin, but they encourage collagen production. And also, if you think about it, we are exposed to UV light, including the blue light from your computer. So what the research that was done, and I was published in the Journal of Cosmetology, that the plant stem cells protect the skin from the UV. So you're getting protection as well as antioxidant support. And then I put some hyaluronic acid in there, of course, 3 different forms of it. And I used different peptides that I mimicked from snail peptides. It's not actual snail that's in it. It's the peptides that are similar to snail that I put in there as well. And so I wanted people to use serums versus oils, because for me, your skin makes its own oil anyway. So for me, I'm not about putting oil in the face. I'm about putting things in like hyaluronic acid, plant stem cell, that's going to fill in your own skin naturally and also plump and add that dewiness. And if you're doing inside supplements and skin, you've got it made. And that's why I created the line, because I wanted to create something that was going to have long-term benefits.
And the cream, I pretty much wear makeup. I'm not right now because I'm at home a lot, but I tend to wear makeup every day. And what I loved about the serum and the cream is that it just melted in the skin. So it wasn't
so
sticky.
Nicely.
It melted. And, you know, we have a common friend, Charlotte Tilbury, and we were raving about your skincare as well, because when I am putting the makeup on, it just literally feels hydrated. My skin doesn't look dry, and I could be wearing makeup for, you know, 10, 12 hours and my skin feels good. So it's a good teamwork.
Yes, definitely. It's such, and that's all you need. You need a good cleanser, you need a good serum, and a good cream. I mean, other than that, and face masks would be really, really good as well.
So I heard face masks are coming soon.
They are. I'm going to be sending you probably September now.
September. And there's a cleanser coming.
The cleanser's out now.
The cleanser's out? Okay.
Yes, you have to try it. I'm going to send it. So you can buy them on Talib.com.
Okay.
Or you can get them on Net-a-Porter. I know Net-a-Porter is having problems with shipping. You can get my cleanser on Goop.com.
Okay.
But if you go to healthydoc.com, we are shipping all over the world. So reach out to us, and if you have any problems, just send me a message on Instagram, and I'll figure something out.
You know, our 1 hour has flown by.
I can't believe it. Should I quickly show you the tea? Should I show you the time?
It is 10 p.m. Oh, 5 minutes to 10 here in Dubai, and I want to just, you know, a lot of us are, you know, there is this COVID-19 in the air, and it's all about taking care of yourself. And I really wanted Dr. Nigma to share with us a steam that she has, which everyone can do it on their own. And I'm sure now you've heard a lot of things about preventing this COVID-19, and you really have to take responsibility for yourself, and that is keeping your throat and lungs and everything really moist. So I wanted her to share with you the time, not just literally time on a watch, but this is time the herb. And I wanted her to show you tea time. Yes. So I'm going to leave it to you. Share with us what you do for your time sauna.
I'm gonna get help with just moving this down here so you can see what I'm doing. So I've got a pot like so, and I'm just gonna get I'm gonna put some more hot water in here. I have to push that down. We're gonna put some hot water in here. I'm just gonna show this to you in a second.
I just want to say thank you so much for everyone who's been tuning in for this past hour, have come in and out. So answered as many questions as possible. So I've got hello to you. And if you're just joining us, that is the hands of Dr. Nigma Talib, straight from LA. Our 1 hour has flown by, and what she's doing is she's giving us something you can do at home to really open up your nasal passage and throat. So in her
I'm going to put some thyme leaves in here. Okay, so you can put some, and you're going to pour it in some hot, like a hot sort of pot of some sort. You can mix it around. You can also use the thyme as well as essential oils, and you can pour a little bit of that in here. So it depends what you want to do. You can use thyme aromatherapy, or you can use it. And thyme is antibacterial, antiviral. It helps clean up the lungs. So sorry for this is my new COVID look. I'm going to fit in right into the Middle East. And you just cover your head, and you breathe in and out deeply through your nose and your mouth. And you can do that for up to 10 minutes. And it really is nice on your skin as well. So it gives you like this nice, like dewy complexion, because it sort of cleans out the pores. And it also is really, really good for the breathing in the lungs. So, you know, there are other things besides COVID that people are suffering off, like different allergies, colds and flus, just regular viruses. So this is something you can do just to keep those lungs nice and clear.
So yes, this does apply to men as well. So make sure everyone does this at home. So not only does it open your pores, it's really great for your skin, but it really kind of opens that nasal passage. Breathe it in, do it for a good 10 minutes, I think, right? You'll get maximum results. 10
minutes for maximum results. And, you know, you can do that every day if you want. It's super easy to do, and you can buy a bunch of thyme leaves. So everything is easy.
So Dr. Nigma, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Tricky to find a perfect time, but I'm so glad we were able to answer as many questions. 1 hour flew by. Wherever you're watching from around the world, we want to say a big thank you to you and for commenting. It was so nice. Or we're just going to ask you one last question. Jamila from Toronto is asking, how do you reduce extra mucus when there's no cold?
When you don't have a cold, the mucus could be from foods that you're eating. So cut out the dairy. Steam will help with the mucus. And there's a supplement called N-acetylcysteine, NAC. That's really good at getting rid of mucus. Chicken soup is amazing for it because cysteine is rich in chicken. So the chicken soup will really help sort of get rid of the mucus as well. So find out where the mucus is coming from, because that's the key.
So I'm just going to give a big shout out again. This is her best-selling book. You can get it on Amazon. Amazon is delivering all over, so make sure you get this. There are 2 titles for the book. This is the first one, and the second one is
Reverse the Signs of Aging and Younger Skin Starts in the Gut.
Yeah, so it is. There's a US edition and, of course, a European edition. It's the same book, and this book is honestly amazing. I always have little Post-it notes. I'm always learning something